Hey, where's your boy Darrell Smith, aka Scoot? You guys know exactly what it is today, and the data is in right now. We got Chase Bank having layoffs. We have major layoffs at Bank of America and also Fifth Third Bank as well. So you got three big banks doing layoffs, and you have a banking crisis at the same time. So my thing is, if all this going on, when is the recession going to start, huh? Well, the problem is, one, because the data is so far behind, I believe, from my opinion, from my personal opinion, and something I've been seeing, even in the car market, I believe that the recession has already started. And the beginning of the recession was in the pandemic, during the pandemic. Why? Because that's when the first crash happened. Because of the pandemic, people weren't able to work, and they had to do things from home, and they had to stay home, okay? So that's when prices went down because we didn't have much productivity in our country, all right? If everybody's staying home, we don't have that much productivity, all right? So now, with new laws coming in, and they're picking up on increase on COVID, they got a new vaccine coming out. Not vaccine, actually, I'm sorry. They have a new version of COVID coming out. They're closing down some schools. They're closing down some businesses already in certain areas. And right now, there's people in the world that just cannot survive off of what's going on with inflation right now. Inflation is still too high. Demand is still low for buying houses. However, inflation is just way too high right now. I literally ran into a lady last week at Burlington Coat Factory that's telling me that she got fired and laid off from her job at Chase Bank. She worked there for over 20 years. 20 years, okay? That whole mindset of having that linear income mindset where my job won't fire me. No, they love me. You know what? Job security does not exist. The only way it can exist is if you add more value to yourself, all right? But the point I'm making is this, guys, is that one, these banks are crashing. They're having issues, and now they're doing layoffs to cover their butts. So think about this, and I'm going to keep this as clean as possible when I say this. You got to create leverage. Leverage incomes always beat linear income. Why? Because you set the time, you set the date, you set the schedule. All right? The young lady I spoke to, she's working 3 jobs. It's her husband, and her son. Her son works at the Burlington Coat Factory with her. Really? So she's working a Burlington Coat Factory job. She's working another whole factory. And I think another job as well. She didn't tell me the other job, but she's working 3 jobs. Her son is working at the Burlington Coat Factory as well. Tell me we're not in a recession. And she's doing it just to pay her bills. Meaning 1 job, not just 2 jobs, not just 3 jobs, just to maintain her lifestyle, okay? Her husband works a factory job. So you have 5 streams of income coming into that house, in that household, that one household, 5 streams of income, and they're still just trying to maintain. Now, she did tell me, good thing she had a 401k. And the reason I say that, because we all know a 401k is just allowing the company that you work for invest money into other investments, and they try to match you with it, supposedly match you with it. And nothing's wrong with 401ks. I mean, if you're not, a savvy investor and stuff like that, I understand. But there's other things you can do, like a Roth IRA. There's other things you can do and use. I mean, you can actually buy a house with your Roth IRA account. You can buy a plethora of investment properties. But don't tell nobody I told you that, okay? You can do it. It's possible, okay? So check this out. The issue is, 1, inflation is way too high. 2, interest rates is at a 22-year high. I think it's 22 years, or probably more. But I know the last time it was up like that was in the, I think, late 70s, early 80s, something like that. But the point I'm making is that if interest rate keep increasing, that means, what's about to go down? the value of goods. Why? Because people will not be able to afford them. Not everyone, just everybody else. Maybe the 80%, the low 80% people. You know what I'm saying? So if you're earning from 50, we'll just say if you're earning from $30,000 to $60,000 a year, you're being priced out right now. Even if you earn a amount of, let's see, about $80,000 to $100,000, you're still being priced out. It is really hard to afford because you got to think about it. You got to take a count of medical bills, food, shelter, transportation, hell, just food, transportation, and housing. I mean, where we at right now, especially if you're out here in Houston, Texas, man, you're paying a nice little amount of change for that. And then with these rising interest rates, I don't see many of these home builders out here. Many of them not really selling their homes right now. They're trying to get people in by having these incentives. And guess what's happening? Some people just saying, no, I'm not good. Now, me personally, I had my house built from the ground. I had a 4.2 interest rate fixed for VA. And my house, it actually appraised. So at this juncture, I'm like, well, you know what? It is what it is. But I've already had the idea that I was going to stay in my house for 10 years. So if you're a person that's trying to stay in the house about 10 years, maybe 8 to 10 years and stuff like that, I mean, is it a good time to buy? I don't believe so. I bought because of my circumstances. I got custody of my kids, so that's different. But everybody's situation is different. And everybody's hustle is different. Everybody's income is different. Like it's different. But the point I'm making is that we have to be aware about what's going on in this nation. You know, with the inflation going up, interest rates going up, and the value of the dollar constantly decreasing as we speak right now, because we've been taken off the gold standard since 1971. And then, of course, something happened in 1914 where the Federal Reserve they did their little magical spirit stuff and were like, whatever they did, it actually discredit the dollars. So the point I'm making is, guys, is that we, and not including myself, I'm an investor myself. So even though I'm okay, everybody else not. So if you guys need this information, I'm here to tell you that the only way you're going to survive this storm is if you take yourself out of the market. Stop using debt. Only way to you're going to have to use debt right now. If you got a house, pay your mortgage. If you're at a low interest rate, keep doing what you're doing. However, with interest rate going up, it's keeping a lot of people from wanting to buy houses. It's keeping people from wanting to buy these cars. And guess what? It's a whole lot of cars on these dealership lots, a whole bunch of them. I done went to a few places out here where they about to give me a discount. They took off maybe $2,000, $3,000 off a vehicle. And I'm like, whoa, so now I'm like, well, maybe if I wait a little bit longer, because my goal is to wait all the way to the end of December to start looking at vehicles. Actually, yeah, around Christmas time to start looking at vehicles, because that's when they get bigger and better discounts. But the point I'm making is this, guys, is that one, it's not substantial enough to, it's not sustainable. It's not substantial to take out debt right now. And it's definitely not sustainable the way the U.S. debt is and how they're constantly increasing interest rates because they print out so much money during the pandemic. So guess what? Everybody got those PPP loans. We got that stimulus check. Yeah, it was great. I got about $4,200 in stimulus plus then some, whatever. But the point I'm making is I was able to use that money and invest that money to make me more money while I sleep. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't have that knowledge of how to create financial wealth by putting it in the marketplace that's going to actually, yield you a nice percentage every month or just annually, So right now, a lot of real estate investors, some are still doing flips, some are still buying houses and doing holds. However, a lot of them, my mentors, have called me and said, hey, man, you might want to put your money in this treasury. Hey, man, you might want to put your money in this CD right now because the interest on there, the yields on there is pretty high right now. You might want to do that. Back in October this year, October last year, October last year, they were paying 4.4%. Now they're paying 5.3, 5.4. They have 1 month treasuries dishing out at 5.3%. If you got $100,000, man, come on. That's an easy $5,000 right there. $5,300 right there. So my thing is, guys, we seeing layoffs right now, interest rates going up, fuel prices going up, oil prices, everything is increasing, including food. So my thing is, check this out. The writing's on the wall. We've been in a recession for a long time. It's just now Redfin, Zillow is starting to realize and actually starting to report we're having a problem. So if you guys need any more information, you need legal services, anything going on with affordable legal services, like, comment, subscribe, join my Patreon account, and I'll see you guys at the top. See ya.